everyone! So it's time for another update on the Carnivore Chronicles. I just thought it would be fun to call it the Carnivore Chronicles because really, that's what they are. It's a record of my journey through the carnivore diet and beyond. So we're coming up on 2 months now because I started, I think it was January 28th or 29th, thereabouts. We had our 1 month mark and everything has continued to flow from there. We're almost at 2 months and I am still happy and loving it. And I cannot tell you and stress this enough how simple it has made my life, especially during a time where I don't really want to go out all that much, or I don't want to have the need to go out all that much. Eating meat and drinking hot water, the occasional cappuccino made with heavy whipped cream, making sure I've got like bacon and butter and all those good things in the house, that is so easy. I just mentioned in my Coffee with Mare segment that my family was kind enough to drop off some groceries the other day, and I mean, just awesome, fun stuff that I can cook with for my daughter, and she's coming home next week, and I plan on having, you know, really nice tomato pasta sauce that's homemade for her. And, you know, I still want to cook. I still want to bake. I just don't want to eat it anymore. And that might sound really strange, but I guess this is the problem that I always had before, was that I loved baking and I always have, and I love to cook. But then I always felt like, oh, then I'm just, you know, it's kind of up to me to eat it all. And then I really got down to just freezing stuff. So yeah, like we've got a whole bunch of fresh citrus fruit that I'm gonna bake with my daughter, because I wanna teach her how to make some really beautiful cakes and stuff, and she's interested in that. So why not while we're at home? I'm just not gonna eat it. I'm gonna make sure that I have like steak or some meat cookies. Oh my goodness. Okay, so meat cookies, AKA burger patties. I made some with ground pork and with some bacon fat and added just a little bit more salt to that, because ground pork on its own is quite bland. It's almost like cooking with ground chicken, which I prefer ground turkey anyway. But you do need to add something to give it a little bit of flavor. And what goes better with pork than pork fat, right? If any of you know who Emeril is, Emeril Lagasse used to always say, pork fat rules, baby. And in this house, it still rules. And I am so loving these pork patties even more than just eating regular ground beef burger patties. And the reason why we went with ground pork, my sister was going to Costco and I asked her, I said, hey, can you pick up some ground beef for me? And she called from the store and said, or she texted me, she's like, there's no ground beef. What about, you know, ground chicken? I'm like, well, turkey or pork would be better. And we ended up going with, she brought me like this beautiful package of ground pork, and it still has quite a good amount of fat in it, so it's not very dry, but adding that extra little bit with the bacon fat not only adds fat, but flavor. And I think I'm sort of finally hitting my stride with what my fat intake needs to be. And Kate, TMI, this is a too much information warning, but going to the bathroom is a really big topic amongst carnivores. And I know that some people say in the first few months, you know, sometimes there's going too much and then there's not going enough. I've been more on the not enough side, or not that much. But at 2 months, my body's still adapting to this. And so I wasn't expecting miracles. What has happened though is that I'm in a whole lot less pain, and the bloating and inflammation and swelling in my abdomen has reduced by at least half. I can't even tell you, like when I first started this, you know, people talk about like sucking in their gut, right? There was nowhere for it to suck in because it was so puffy and swollen my abdomen was. And you know, when I talk about weight loss versus the loss of swelling and inflammation, for me, that's what the difference is, because it's not like I was really fat in my abdomen. It was just everything was so swollen and inflamed on the inside that, you know, sometimes lying down was uncomfortable just because it was really painful. So a lot of that is gone. A lot of that is gone. I would say my pain levels, strictly from irritable bowel, has probably gone down by 50%, if not more, already in the first 2 months of doing carnivore. And it's early days. It's early days, people. I have said it before, I will say it again. I am not expecting an overnight miracle. It took my whole life for my body to get to the point where it is now. So I need to have the patience, and I ask that you have the patience to come along on this journey with me as well. And before I forget, don't forget to hit like on this video and subscribe to my channel. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, okay? And go hit the notification bell afterwards so you know exactly when the next videos are coming out. All right, so don't forget. Now, my IBS is one of the big bonuses, and naturally, because that's what comes into direct contact with food, your intestines, and all of the nutrients. Like, I was really hoping that we would see a reduction in the inflammation and swelling, and we have seen that. I mean, within the first few days, I started feeling like I had less inflammation. And I've talked to one of my special doctors that I go to, as well as my family doctor, in case you missed that on the last update, that they were both, like, my family doctor pretty much asked me, how are you feeling? And, you know, we agreed at a certain time, like in a few months' time, that I'm going to go and get some blood work done just to see how things are going. And another one of my specialists that I saw was just, she's like, yes, good, how's it going, you know? She also has an autoimmune inflammatory disease, and she said, you know, it's surprising that there aren't more people who are trying carnivore, and that it's something that can really be a game changer, and that going forward, she really hopes that there's a lot more counseling that's nutrition based, that is coming from doctors to their patients. Now, I can also understand that that's a very fine line, because doctors are not registered dietitians. There's a number of channels that I follow here on YouTube. I am finding still that I am consuming information much better when I'm able to watch it and read subtitles at the same time, and whatever captions that people might be putting. I'm still retaining that information a lot better. So there hasn't been a lot of hitting the books for probably the last month or so. I've tried getting back to my books and picking up the ones that I was reading, and my concentration is just not there. So writing is so not my thing, and having long extended conversations actually feels quite tiring to me some days. So, you know, there's only a few people that I talk to for a very, very long period of time on the phone, because, you know, I can't talk to everybody and have long conversations like that right now, because my focus, it wanes. It just kind of, you know, when I feel it drifting, or if I feel like I'm just exhausted, I usually say to whoever I'm talking to, I'm like, hey, you know what, I hate to cut this short, but I'm feeling like I need to either get horizontal, I need to give my brain a little bit of a rest, I just can't focus, and people understand that. So, you know, I do still have the oodles more mental clarity than I did before starting carnivore, though. You know, honestly, I am so grateful for that, because it is a lot better. And even the amount that I have to search for words, or that I have to search for what it is that I want to say, that doesn't happen as much. I still have times where it's like, blank, cut the video, edit it together, because what I just said made absolutely no sense. Yeah, I have cut some of that stuff out because I just don't want to bore you all to tears with me sitting there going, okay, so we said that, and then what did we want to do after that? No, you guys don't need to watch every time that that happens. It's funny for me when I'm going through and editing these videos though, because then I'm just kind of like, wow, we totally went off the rails on that one. And you know, sometimes there's things that come out that are funny to me and I go, okay, it's just not relevant to the video and I don't want to be making 45 minutes videos, you know, or an hour of me just sitting there talking nonsense to you all. But I do think it's valuable to include some of those pauses. So, but overall, the whole mental clarity thing has just been really, that's been such a boost for me to feel a little bit more like I know that I have in the past and that I do believe that I can get to again. So, and I mean, I do hope that maybe sometimes you get the giggles if you kind of see that I'm just like, and I kind of leave it in there, you know, it's not about being perfect, people. It's about being out there and putting yourself out there and putting your story. And, you know, I think despite the fact that I was thinking about this for 2 years, creating this channel and having all kinds of content and just wanting to be of value and of service in my community, that, you know, I still had to be ready. And when Carnivore came into my life and showed up, it was the right time for me. And I'm really thankful for every one of you that are following me. And if you do have people who are contemplating the carnivore diet and they're not quite sure, or they just want to know more about it, don't forget that I've curated a playlist called #Carnivore Resources, where it's a lot of different people that are speaking about carnivore from different perspectives and at different points in their journey. And some of them they're like low carb or ketogenic doctors, and they speak about it from that perspective. But really, there's a lot of the information between keto and zero carb or carnivore that overlap. So it's not a bad thing to look at. I think it's called Low Carb Down Under, is one of my favorite channels. There's a doctor on there who I just think is stellar at explaining things and informative and kind of entertaining at the same time. So send them over to that playlist and tell them to just have a poke around. And yeah, there are some videos on there that, you know, there's some haters out there that really do hate carnivore because of what it stands for in their minds, you know, whatever they're making that mean to themselves. What it means to me is a way out of possibly having autoimmune and connective tissue disorders taking me out of life, because that's what happened and I want my life back. So when people have tried a lot like I have, and that they've been at this whole steady chronic illness thing for a decade or more, you get to a point where you're ready. You're ready to take it on. And I was doing this regardless of whether I had anybody's blessing or not. And if this is you and you're at your jumping off point right now, and oh sorry, we've got another low battery notification. But if this is you and you're on that jumping off point where you really feel like you need to do something, maybe keto is right for you. Maybe being a vegetarian is right for you. Maybe being vegan is right for you. Maybe being carnivore is right for you. You do you. I'm figuring out what's working for me, and I'm hoping that it might be informative for you and that maybe it can help you make a choice. Either way, I'm not attached to it. It's your life. You have to do what makes you healthy and what makes you happy. And if you don't think that carnivore is something that is for you, that's fine. I don't think it's for everybody. I think it's for me. Right now, what I'm seeing is I think it is for me. So just keep that in mind, right? It's not about what other people think. It's about what makes you feel good on the inside. And also, you know, having the support of a doctor is wonderful. And right now I have 2 doctors supporting me through this. And when I see another one of my specialists, it'll probably be 3, because when I talk to my rheumatologist, she's very forward thinking, and I'm thinking that she's heard of this and probably has patients that are doing it already. So, so I call myself very fortunate, very, very fortunate to have those people in my life. And they're all women too. Just kind of dawned on me that like 3 of my favorite doctors are all women. Anyhow, so again, people, give us a big thumbs up, like this video, and subscribe, hit that button, and don't forget to go click on that notification bell so you know exactly when the next videos are landing. So thanks again for joining me on this update, and we'll talk to you very soon. This is SickMom, checking out.